what are your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time?
So that's funny. So I fly RC helicopters. So I have like, T-Rexes and just a bunch of different Align helicopters. Check them out. Like T-Rex. I don't know. I have a T-Rex 600. It's a little bit outdated, but I love flying it. And I have a T-Rex 450. And I have a bunch of small E-flights that I fly around. And so I like doing that. And I speargun fish. So I'm going to the Greek islands next in August after the birthday, and my cousin, who is an archaeologist, is a PhD of archaeology, and I are going on a boat, and we are speargun fishing and catching what we're only eating what we catch. So if we don't catch stuff, we're going to starve.
So you better catch something.
Yeah, we used to do that from 12 to 18. That was actually a lot of the entrepreneurial spirit, knowing that you can live off the land somewhere in the world gives you a lot of confidence in this world, I gotta say.
So I'm in the cockpit of an airplane at a party at Comic-Con with the CEO of DeviantArt and founder, Angelo. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really well.
You're having an epic day?
Oh, incredible day. Poetic day.
Poetic day.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what is the neatest thing you've seen today? Besides this plane
I saw today. Well, I watched. I was sitting and I was watching Stanley Lau, Art Germ, who's one of the artists on DeviantArt and the guy that's currently drawing, Batman and Batgirl for DC Comics. And he was just sitting there, and people were coming up to him, and they were all from DeviantArt, so they all knew him by his DeviantArt name as Art Germ. And I was asking him, I was like, does that happen pretty often? And he's like, oh no, that's like most of everybody that comes up. The largest demographic is our deviants, coming up and saying, hey, I've seen you on DeviantArt, hey, I've seen you on DeviantArt. And as we're saying that, like, people are coming up saying, hey, I've seen you on DeviantArt. And I'm just like, oh man, that's incredible. And then of course he kind of queued that up and was like, he looks up, he's like, hey, do you like DeviantArt? And to this girl that was there. And she was like, yeah, I love it. I'm on there all the time. And he was like, well, that guy, that's Angelo from DeviantArt. He runs DeviantArt. And she like turns around and like freaks out, and it just kind of made my day. It was a cool moment.
That must have been fun and surreal.
Yeah, totally surreal. I mean, it happens. I kind of like to think that like being at Comic-Con is like being a superhero in disguise, because we have so many fans here that and nobody knows what I look like usually, so people will ask me what I do, and I always get that reaction, and it's just an awesome reaction here. It's kind of like a comic book author's fame kind of a thing,
What advice do you have to people who, I assume that DeviantArt wasn't an instant success. It took some time to turn the corner. You're profitable, I assume.
Actually, DeviantArt was an instant success. Is the truth. Okay. So we are profitable. We were always profitable. So the company, we started off with $15,000. That's it, and we didn't take any money from outside investors until 2007. So that's 7 years of entrepreneuring on cash flow. And yeah, I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs would do that either. So that's a tough one to do.
That's pretty amazing. So if on $15,000, there clearly was a market need. People really needed DeviantArt.
Well, there was nothing like DeviantArt. There was nothing like Facebook, MySpace, Friendster before it. There was nothing like Zanga. The only place where you could sign up, get a profile, have a profile page with stuff on it, like a journal, anything on it, really, and be able to submit content and find members by clicking on their usernames. That, I know that sounds ridiculous, because in today's world that's everywhere, but when DeviantArt started, there was nothing, like nothing like that at all. So the opportunity was huge, because the people who like doing that now were doing it at DeviantArt. And I think throughout the years, other networks launched that stripped away some of the social networking intent and allowed us to continue being a pure artist community,
And are you an artist?
Yeah, I am now. I didn't start as an artist when I first started DeviantArt. I wasn't an artist, but now I am.
So what led you, if you're not you don't have an art background, what led you to start DeviantArt? What was the path?
Oh, it was MP3s. So we started with MP3s, and all my friends built, Winamp and Sonic and MP3.com and Music Match and eMusic, and and I built D-Music, which was a music community, and those MP3 players had skins, so you can change the look and feel of the skin, the player. And I built with Mark Streech. We built Winamp Facelift, and there was skins that you could post for Winamp on Winamp Facelift.
I had some of those.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So you built those, or your
Winamp,
community
the
did?
Community for it, and we watched that blow up. I mean, even if you look on the Internet Archive for skins.dmusic.com, on Internet Archive, you'll find screenshots from like 1998 from Winamp Facelift, and when you click, you can actually still navigate the site. And skins were getting like 5,000 hits back then. One skin, 5,000 hits. It was a huge site. Anyway, the artists there started saying, "Hey, dude, I love this, but I've got paintings. Can I post paintings?" And I thought, well, it'd be kind of weird to post paintings on Winamp Facelift, wouldn't it?
So what were you like as a child? Were you entrepreneurial when you were young?
I mean, as a child, like as a kid, yeah. I mean, I played with my Legos.
Let's go back to like 5 years old.
I like playing with Legos and, inventing stuff and scenes in my backyard and pretending I was a ninja and karate kicking and stuff in my backyard. I don't know, what do kids do? But, by the time I was 6 or 7, it was pretty clear that I was a bit of an entrepreneur. I was the one starting the lemonade stands, and then eventually I was employing my friends to wash cars and then...
I'm seeing a theme with this.
Yeah, right?
How can I employ my friends? It's great.
Yeah, I always wanted to build stuff. So.
That's cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the journey from how you got to the point where you were starting DeviantArt? Like, what's the story there? And what's happened in the last 10 years?
Oh my God, I mean, it's 10 years.
It's a long time. So most entrepreneurs watching this, 10 years is a long, long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's unusual. So, most people don't have the stamina for that.
It's not, that's true. But for me, it's about I'm an entrepreneur, and I know when my job as an entrepreneur is done, and I know when it's not done. So with DeviantArt, the opportunity was always really, really big. The potential was huge, but to actually wield that potential and execute it really well, it takes an entrepreneur still. There's points in many businesses' lives where you can eventually sort of turn it over to another company or to another CEO or to somebody and delegate the responsibilities and make it a process and a procedure. DeviantArt's not there. There's still a lot of innovation that has to happen in my space, and so that's why I love it, and that's why I stay there, because year after year we innovate in the space, we change things in the space. It's still entrepreneuring 10 years later. I think there's business units that have been built, and those things are run by really, really smart department heads that are like CEOs themselves. But the remaining vision in the landscape is so big that's 10 years, 20 years. I don't care how long it takes. So long as I feel that real opportunity and see it, I'm there. There's no better place for me right now. Yeah, so we built DeviantArt. You were asking about building DeviantArt, and I've looked around, and like all my peers, we built the platforms. So even on the cutting edge, the cusp of that, you even include Facebook in that, Twitter, things like this. But Twitter's from Ev, those guys built Blogger and stuff like this, right? So that's that generation, platform builders. But this generation that's coming up is really, really cool. This generation is not about building platforms. It's about marketing. This generation speaks in tweets, so 140 characters at a time, and those are the blog titles, right? So our platform generation grew up writing blog entries, lots of text that was pretty smart and stuff, but our titles weren't very good. We didn't know how to put the buzz on it. This generation, they're growing up, all they know is how to write those headlines. So what we're seeing is the emergence of the largest, the biggest, the most powerful generation of marketers that the world has ever seen, and they're learning how to do that one tweet at a time. So what advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are
just starting out or just thinking about starting a company, what's the number one thing that you would want to
Today's entrepreneurs?
Yeah, today's entrepreneurs.
Very simple. Don't be weak. Don't be weak. Like, I've seen so much, and what I mean by that is, like, I've just been looking at companies to angel invest in lately, and analyzing a lot of the entrepreneurs out there. I mean, I think there's a lot of smart kids growing up, a lot of smart entrepreneurs, but there's a little bit of weakness. There's a lot of dependency on, well, if I don't get the money, if I don't get investment, then I can't do anything in the internet space, and that is a really big load of crap. Like, you guys have it way easier than we did 10 years ago, way easier, and there's so many resources available to you to build a business, and building a business quick and making it work. You should be able to figure that out for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it takes to prove your model. I mean, anyway, I think there's times where you need money too, but it's not all about raising venture capital. It's not all about, getting angel money. It's not all about that. It's just, doing a lot with a little. That's a sign of strength, and I like to see that in an entrepreneur before I invest. So, don't be weak.